So Games Workshop wants all the money in the world. And they're willing to sell it to anyone who wants to buy the license. So in comes these snake oil salesmen, who are known as Eco Software. And they saw that they could strike while the iron was hot. Ooh, look. See this? This is my bells. I gave it a new rune. Now it just shoots fire in every direction. That's really good. And this was right back when the whole Diablo Immortal debacle happened, if you remember that. Where we were at BlizzCon. This is also one of the reasons why Diablo 4 was announced, because of this debacle. We're at BlizzCon. The devs and Blizzard have been sort of like hinting that there was going to be some sort of big Diablo announcement, and apparently the original plan was that they were actually going to announce Diablo 4 at that BlizzCon. But Diablo 4 is a game that has apparently, as far as like, if we can believe the reports or whatnot, it's a game that's been in development hell for several years, and that has been like completely scrapped and redesigned from the ground up several times. At one point it was like supposed to be kind of like a Soulsborne game, a Souls-like. That was one idea they had for like the next Diablo, which, like, don't get me wrong, to me that sounds amazing. I could also see like there could be cool stuff with an ARPG that has sort of like Warframes system for various mission selections, and how you can just choose what sort of game you want to play and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff you could do. But apparently they can't decide what they want Diablo 4 to be, or they couldn't. But now something had happened, and they were telling people, hey guys, they were like going to the forums and the subreddits and be like, hey guys, you should start getting hype about Diablo again. Why? Oh, no reason. No reason. Just you know, maybe it's a good time to get excited about Diablo again. And everyone was like, holy shit, they're gonna do it, right? Why would they tell us that if they weren't gonna like announce Diablo 4? And they were sort of like putting like little teasers and hints on YouTube, stuff like that. So, you know, as we were getting closer and closer to BlizzCon, hype levels just started rising more and more. Obviously. And then, like, just kind of a short time before BlizzCon, like a little while before BlizzCon, something must have changed. Because suddenly, they had, like, community managers going out and changing their tune and telling people to, like, guys, we want you to temper your expectations. We know you're hype about BlizzCon and Diablo, and we're kind of asking you to be a little bit less hype. There's gonna be some Diablo stuff, but it might not be Diablo 4, I'm just saying. At this point it was too late. At this point, people thought that this was like a bait and switch, where it's like, you're just sort of like just downplaying it so that we'll get even more hype when the surprise comes. So it's too late. They've been hyping it up for too long. But people were obviously getting a bit worried, at least. So, like, what everyone sort of just assumes happens is that, like, for some reason, they couldn't announce it at that BlizzCon. Probably because they, like, sort of scrapped it again, right? And again, sort of, like, changed their minds about what Diablo was supposed to be. And they're like, no. Back to the drawing board. We had an idea, but it sucked. It sucked. We're not gonna do it this way, so we can't announce it. And Blizzard has been so afraid of prematurely announcing things ever since Project Titan. Project Titan is like a game that, like an undefined Blizzard game that's been in development forever, and just was supposed to be like the next big thing, whatever it was. And they announced that they were working on something that they were calling Project Titan, and it was going to be the next big thing, and people hype about it for years. And then Project Titan sort of just never came out, and was scrapped and whatnot. And that was like just bad PR for them. Same with StarCraft Ghost, another game that was announced and they worked on for years and then just never came out, and people were left feeling disappointed and burned. So now, because of that, Blizzard is really gun-shy with announcing things. They basically don't want to announce a game until it's just pretty much already done, right? So, something must have happened where they're like, nah, scrap it, scratch it, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go back to the drawing board. And then you couldn't announce it at BlizzCon, and then they're like, oh, fuck! Why were we hyping people up? Why were we telling people to get hype about BlizzCon? That was a mistake. Well. And then BlizzCon came around, and what they announced was, as you all know, Diablo Immortal, which was a mobile game designed primarily for like the Chinese market. Because them Chinese people love to play games on the mobiles, and there's a lot of money to be made on Chinese mobile games. That's Games Workshop money right there. You can get from the Chinese mobile market. And obviously the original plan was to announce both. They were gonna announce Diablo 4, and that was gonna make the American audiences happy. And then they were also gonna announce Diablo Immortal, and that was gonna make the Chinese market happy. That was the plan. That has to have been the plan. It's just that didn't happen. Alright, now I'm finding weapons that are wildly outclassing my old ones, even though these are legendaries. Let's see. What about this one? It's a little bit better, right? It's a little bit better. Okay. We'll take it. Sure. But they no longer had Diablo 4. That had been taken off the docket. So now all they had was the mobile game. And they had to make that their sort of like huge, big main stage announcement. And that's like one of the biggest PR nightmares that Blizzard has ever had. And it is sort of like crapped all over BlizzCon. People are like not excited about BlizzCon anymore. And like that did so much damage that they're still trying to work on repairing. And they were probably hoping to do that, or sort of like just going back to the norm and the status quo. This year's BlizzCon, right? Wasn't supposed to be anything big, just sort of like, alright, chill, we're just gonna have a normal convention. No big shenanigans or anything. And then the China troubles happened. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, maybe? Maybe you've been living under a rock? But what happened was, there's this movement going on right now. A movement to free a place that rhymes with two dongs. It doesn't exactly rhyme with two dongs, but you know, you get the point. Blizzard had a... I have been talking for too long and my voice is cracking up. I apologize. I'm gonna have a little bit of water. That's better. Blizzard had a Hearthstone tournament. And, you know, the collectible card game. I've played some of that on this channel. I might play it some more on this channel. And the winner of that tournament was a guy, you know, from Hong Kong. And for his victory speech, he said, "Free Hong Kong, revolution of our times." And, you know, China was not very happy about that, right? Like, and Blizzard were not happy about that. And to an extent, you know, you get it. Like, you get Blizzard's stance there, where it's like, we don't want our esports events to be used for political manifestations or political messages. We want to keep them apolitical. So it's improper to use your victory speech in a tournament to push a political agenda. I understand that sentiment, and that's fine. That's not the problem, that they sort of like felt like this person needed to be admonished somehow for doing this. The problem was that in order to placate their Chinese overlords, they gave him such a heavy-handed like punishment. They went completely overboard with his punishment. Where it's like, oh, you're banned from playing Hearthstone for like a year, and you're not gonna get your prize money from winning the tournament. Also, the two sportscasters who were interviewing you, they're also gonna get fired because for some reason they are co-responsible for you doing this. It was like insane, the punishments that were handed out. And this made people completely outraged, because this started like a debate in the US about the whole sort of like, what are companies willing to do in order to do business with China? How much are you willing to sort of like ignore your own self-professed ideals? And this is, of course, magnified by the fact that, you know, it's America, right? It's America! It's freedom of speech America, where everyone can say what they want, and we got freedom of speech because it's America. You can't tell people what they can and can't say. Not in America. I'm joking a bit, but it's true. It's true. And American companies have to sort of like reconcile with the fact that these are wildly anti-American ideals that the Chinese government has. And you gotta play nice with China if you want to do business with China. So how do you reconcile this? And it's a fine line to walk. And obviously, Blizzard's way of walking that fine line was to abandon all of their ideals so that they could suck on the warm teeth of China. That's what they did. And people were not happy about it. People were very much not happy about it. And that happened right before BlizzCon. It happened right before BlizzCon. It was gonna be like their big thing, right? It was gonna be their big thing, where it's like, finally, we have our huge event, our huge yearly event, and we're gonna forget about all that bad stuff from before. We're just gonna have a nice, not like last year's BlizzCon. Not like last year's BlizzCon with that whole Diablo Immortal fiasco. No, no, no. We're gonna have a nice, cool BlizzCon where nothing crazy happens. It's gonna be a nice, boring BlizzCon. And then the China troubles happened. Then this happened. I mean, fuck, man. That's the worst, isn't it? And suddenly people were like, "Oh, we're gonna riot. We're just gonna riot. We're gonna completely sabotage BlizzCon." So here's the thing. It is time to stop wearing the loot socks, but the loot socks will go on in our hearts forever, because they will be in the cube. I think I have all the resources needed, right? 5 Death's Breath, and one of each of these. And from that chest we got in the beginning, the challenge chest, we got... Where are they? Here. 15 of these, only one of each, and 33 death spread. So we can actually do this and auto-fill this recipe for me, please. And boom! See that? Bam! Now I got it here. Now I got the effect of the crudest boots, even though I'm not wearing the crudest boots. Isn't that fascinating? That's great. And people are like, yeah, we're gonna riot. We're gonna destroy this event for you. We're gonna ruin BlizzCon. We're gonna boo everything. We're gonna be doing protests. We're gonna make our voices heard. Right? And they were like, no, not another year of our biggest convention being a complete and total PR disaster for us. Please, not that. So they're like, all right, what can we do? What can we do to deflect? What can we possibly do? What's the one thing we can do that are gonna make people shut up about China? And they were like, fuck it. Even though it's nowhere near ready, even though it's not even close to being ready, we gotta announce Diablo 4. We have nothing to show. We got nothing. We got literally nothing. Well, that's not true. They have something. But it's a game that's in development hell. So, I'm gonna make some fist weapons. Make 2 of them, in fact. 73, 56. Let's do 2 more. I'm gonna see if I can get one that has a socket. No. Okay, fine. So this one, big damage. 67 and 100 dicks. Okay. Okay, big damage up. Even though we're unsure if this is the direction that we want to go in this game, or maybe we want to do something completely... we can't. We gotta go all in now. Just gotta announce it, because that's gonna get people hype. And that's the reason why they announced Diablo 4 on this BlizzCon. This game is not ready, okay? It is not ready. This game is years out from being released. 5 years? 10 years? Who knows? It's probably not 1. They're not even gonna give like a release date. Which is why they had like, oh, here's like a demo version you can play at this BlizzCon. Which is fine, but I'm not actually too hyped about that, because like the actual finished game is gonna look nothing like that. It's gonna look nothing like that. So whatever, like, you can't even form an opinion on what the game is gonna be from watching this demo. It's just a big fat nothing. So I'm not hype about that, unfortunately. And because that's the same thing with Diablo 3, where they sort of like showed advanced stuff from that game, and we're like, oh yeah, here's this game we're working on. We're working on Diablo 3. This is what we got. And the stuff that they showed in advance for this game, for Diablo 3, it looked nothing like this finished product right here. So it's gonna be the same. And it's not even like, it's not even that big of a deal, because everyone knew that they were working on Diablo 4. Of course they are. Diablo 3 is like, it's like it's a record breaker, right? It's like the best selling game of all time. It's not the biggest money maker of all time, right? Because that's games as a service. That's MMOs. That's like World of Warcraft, stuff like that. That's things that's gonna make people come back and keep on spending money year in and year out. Subscription-based stuff. That's the biggest moneymakers. So, Diablo 3 was never the biggest moneymaker, but it is the best-selling game of all time. And and that's something. Even though it's not the biggest profits in the world, it's profits, okay? It is profits. So since Diablo 3 is obviously a profitable game, or Diablo as a franchise is a profitable franchise, of course they're gonna make Diablo 4. Everyone knew they were gonna make Diablo 4, and everyone knew that they were working on Diablo 4. So this announcement isn't actually that big news. Sure, they had a demo that you could play, because they had to, because otherwise people would have been, they wouldn't have accepted it. At this point, the PR was so bad that like it wouldn't have been enough to just have like a big screen saying Diablo coming TBD at some point, coming. That wouldn't have been enough. They had to actually show something off, and they knew it. So they just scrambled something together. Right? And people played it, and the collective reaction to it was kind of like, meh. 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 Like, okay, I guess. Meh. Right? That was basically what the people said when they played it. They're like, it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's okay. Because that's not actually Diablo 4. That's not what they were playing. They were playing, here's a thing to make you shut up about China. That's what it was. That's all it was. And I think people know that. You know, on some level they know that. But, so yeah, it's coming. Everyone knows it's coming. What it's actually gonna be might, like, it could still be, like, at the end of the day, like a Soulsborne game or whatever. But it's interesting because this is still sort of new. In that, like, this is not how Blizzard likes doing things. So they're trying something a bit different here. Where they're trying to go, to embrace the fact that they have announced it now in advance. And now they're like, alright. You guys were clearly not happy about Diablo Immortal. We get that. And isn't it fun? Isn't it fun that they announced Diablo Immortal and then it never came out? Right? It never came out! No one knows what the fuck is up with Diablo Immortal at this point. All we know is that it never came out. It's so weird. It's probably scrapped. It's probably not gonna come out. I don't know. If it's like just because of the bad PR? Man, who knows? Who can know? But yeah, now they're like, alright, we screwed up with Diablo Immortal. You were obviously not happy about that. We get it. And we probably sort of... I don't think they screwed up with Diablo 3 because Diablo 3 is a great game. It's a fun game. I've put thousands of hours into it. But obviously it has its detractors who are like, it's not Diablo 2. And Diablo 2 is held up as this sort of like masterpiece that this game can't sort of like compete with. And I don't know. I'm a bit sick of that because I think people have such rose-colored glasses when it comes to Diablo 2. Don't get me wrong, I put thousands of hours into Diablo 2 as well. Great game. Right? I did the bail runs. Did all of that. But there are a lot of things with Diablo 2 which is like, if you did it today, people would be like, why would you make the game that way? There are a lot of ideas in that game that are like very archaic and not good. There are things in that game that are not good. And there are things in Diablo that are very good. Okay? Yeah. In Diablo 3, that is. Diablo 3 is a very good game. It's very different from Diablo 2. But they're like, okay, we heard you. You missed the sort of dark gothic tone of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. You thought Diablo 3 was a bit too cartoony, a bit too colorful. And you want to go back to the dark stuff. We heard that. We're listening. Now we want to know, since we crapped the bed, and that forced us to announce this game even though it's nowhere ready, since we're all in on this train, we might as well ask for community feedback on this one. We might as well just ask the fanbase for once. What do you want to see out of this game? What do you want Diablo to be? And it's so funny to me because, like, you know that in part the reason why they're asking this question is because this is a game that's in development hell. They don't know what Diablo is supposed to be. They haven't figured that out yet. So they're like, alright, fuck it. We've been working on this game like for a couple of years now. And it's gone through so many iterations and we're not getting anywhere. We might as well just ask people what they want the game to be and then try to do that. And that's the dumbest thing you can do. It's such a dumb fucking idea. You know why? You know why? Okay, I'm gonna drop a knowledge bomb on you, okay? It's because people don't know what they want. Straight up. If you ask people for feedback and stuff, like, yeah, sure, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna have good feedback. But they're gonna be drowned out by the throng of voices that are gonna be screaming for, like, basically just, oh, we want more of the same. Oh, what's that? I don't know. Just thing I like. Give thing I like. That's what I want it to be. I want it to be something I like. And then it's just not gonna go anywhere, and then whatever comes out, they're gonna be disappointed by it. Or they're just gonna take inspiration from something that already exists. A lot of people are gonna be like, oh, just make it like Diablo 2 and also make it like Path of Exile. Can you do that? Just make it be these two things that already exist. And then, even if people do that, they're gonna be like, well, this is boring. You're not doing anything new. This is just more of the same. And it's like, yeah, that's what you fucking asked for. I'm a bit cynical here, but, you know, I don't think I'm all that off base. If you want creativity, and if you want vision, and something that's actually going to sort of like be very memorable, I'm sorry, but you can't crowdsource creativity. That it doesn't work like that. You can try. You can try. I'm just saying it's not gonna work.